What's going on, everybody? This is Peter Arena. I write for comicbookinvest.com, CBSI. I give you a weekly dollar bin digging article and video each week, and I am trying to get back to, and this is my first attempt at something a little bit new and a little bit old, my old Usual Suspects article, but I'm going to try to do a little bit of a video accompaniment this week. I want to give a shout out to RJ McCready on my last dollar bin digging video for calling me out for saying that nobody's talking about DC. Well, now I'm here to talk about DC. I don't know if any of you watched the DC Fandome event this past weekend, but it actually was pretty good. Of the online cons, I got to say they handled it very well. I was interested. I liked the panels. I think the times and the timing of what they had was good. They weren't too long. They weren't too drawn out. A lot of quick hits, and I got to see a lot of stuff that I was actually admittedly excited to see. The new Wonder Woman trailer looks pretty good. I enjoyed the Batman trailer. I'm looking forward to that. The Rock presentation for Black Adam was also very good. But I was particularly taken in by James Gunn's presentation for Suicide Squad. So I decided I'm going to do a little something there and just kind of go over all the characters that are formally now announced, where we don't have to speculate anymore who's going to be in this movie, and just kind of talk about all the books and their first appearances and just other appearances and other options that might be out there, because some of those books are pretty old and kind of impossible to find. So, who's going to find a Fighting Five to get first Peacemaker? But there are a couple of other options you might be able to find if you're really interested in finding a Peacemaker book. So I kind of wanted to go over that and hit that kind of stuff up. I am still going to write a little bit of an article to try to throw up this later this week, but I'm doing the video first because I did this fancy deck for it. So I'm going to go and take myself off camera for this and just give you a complete straight up images that I put together to kind of go over, again, Suicide Squad and all the characters that are going to be in it. So hopefully you enjoy it. If you like it, I'll try to do more if it makes sense. If not, tell me you don't like it, and I won't bother wasting anybody else's time. But if you do like it, please like and subscribe. And again, check out stuff that I'm writing over at comicbookinvest.com and all the other writers as well. There's a lot of great stuff and a lot of great content there. And also, don't forget, I do a couple other shows for the Tales from the Flip Side channel as well. So I would suggest you check them out and like and subscribe them as well, even though they have a lot more followers than I do here. So if you know me here, you probably already know that channel there. But if not, go check it out, because there's a lot of great content there as well. So without further ado, I'm going to take myself off camera and let's go right to my Suicide Squad. Now, this movie got pushed back a little bit, as most things have, with COVID. And it's still coming. It is the next movie that James Gunn is directing. I know you guys all know James Gunn. He's a pretty funny dude. I like his movies. I like, apart from the big ones everybody knows with Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm also a big fan of Slither. Also, with Nathan Fillion and Michael Rooker in it. But Guardians of the Galaxy is probably his most well-known work now. I mean, outside going back to that trauma stuff that he did way back in the day. But Guardians of the Galaxy 1, obviously, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and again, upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which he will be doing after Suicide Squad is complete. So you know who that is. And before we get to the new guys, we should probably go back and just kind of look at at least mention the first movie, which I will admit it was very uneven. It was pretty generic. It wasn't awful, but I can't say it was that good either. It was very middle of the road for me. They did some stuff right. They did some stuff wrong. And when I say right and wrong, that's my opinion of what I think they should have done and what I think they should not have done. At times, it came off too much like a stream of music videos. Like it was just a weird excuse for them to play an Eminem song here, even though it really didn't fit the story. It was just very choppy, and I don't know. It left a lot to be desired, personally. But, with that movie, they still introduced a heck of a lot of characters, and not all of them, made it out of there. That's, kind of the basis of, Suicide Squad, is that some of these characters aren't going to make it through to the end. So, without spoiling anything, now that we're a few years removed from the first Suicide Squad, we all know Slipknot didn't make it. He was the example they made with the what the collars would do if you tried to run. So, Slipknot, not going to be seen again. Diablo, he sacrificed himself for the team, so doesn't look we're going to see him again. I mean, with a character like that, they can always make an excuse to bring him back, but they're definitely not bringing him back, or shouldn't say definitely. doesn't look like they're bringing him back for this movie. So I guess we can count him out as well. I think we're pretty certain that we probably won't see Jared Leto's Joker or the weird version of Killer Croc that they gave us. That was, again, one of the missteps on me. Just making a hip-hop Killer Croc just did not seem right. I understand. I think that was kind of the vibe we got from the Brian Azzarello version in that Detective Comics run, but I don't know. I just didn't care for it all that much. It just seemed very forced, and didn't like it. Surprised we're not seeing Enchantress, considering her relationship with Rick Flagg, but maybe she'll cameo. Maybe it'll just be Dr. Moon. I don't know. I'm also surprised we're not seeing Katana. Maybe it'll be a surprise and we'll see Katana pop up. I did want to see more of her character. I thought it was a cool look. Could have done with seeing more of her in this film. And obviously we know we're not getting Deadshot and Will Smith in this one. So we're really only getting Harley, Boomerang, and Rick Flagg coming back for round 2. Yeah. From Harley to Captain Boomerang, or just Boomerang in this, I guess. And Rick Flagg. Those are our 3 returning characters into this new Suicide Squad, and we got all these fancy little logos made up for each of them that they dropped at the DC Fandome event. So I thought that was kind of cool. So without further ado, we all know Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. And we know we're going to see her again. She is one of the most popular, if not the most popular character in this DC universe right now. I mean, with Batman jumping around. I guess you can make an argument for Wonder Woman, but I would still say that Harley is probably what's driving their bus at present. In this particular version of her, I would kind of point towards this New 52 Suicide Squad one, where they kind of revamped her look a bit and kind of sexed her up quite a bit from her animated look that was previously presented. So they definitely went with more of this vibe in the films, as you saw with the Daddy's Little Monster shirts and just the little cutoffs. I mean, it is what it is. It sold tickets, I'm sure, and a lot of cosplay. But this is the book that I would say is the one that kind of introduces you to that version of the character. So again, it is a cheaper option for you if you're looking for that version of the character, because it looks like they, in the new movie, they are kind of taking the sex angle away a bit. I kind of dig this look, and it is still kind of true to that outfit, with the red and black back and forth. So they're kind of moving away from the pink and blue, and now we got a red and black kind of vibe. And if you want that original look, Batman Adventures 12 is the book. But as you all know, that is quite pricey book these days. And in it, you get the old school original look, which we got a little sneak peek of it in the first movie, which I thought was kind of fun. I don't know if we're going to get that again, but it was fun for a while it lasted, when they gave us also this shot of her one shot, this Batman Harley Quinn prestige format one shot, which is her first in the DC universe. So DC universe proper, not from the animated series of books. So that's also another one you might want to keep an eye out for. I mean, again, it's no secret that's an expensive book already as well, but just kind of want to point it out. There's multiple printings of that one, but just something that you should know and consider if you're out there shopping for, Miss Harley Quinn. So after her, I think we will move on and look at Captain Boomerang. Now, again, Boomerang was in the first movie. Jai Courtney. I was never a huge fan of him as an actor, just because I thought he was a little flat as Kyle Reese in the Terminator Genesis, if I'm saying that one right. That one of the reboot attempts they've had at the Terminator franchise. Didn't really care for it. I wasn't a fan of his John McClane's son in that fifth Die Hard. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know, but I liked him in this movie. I thought his character was fun, and I did appreciate it. He was one of the bright spots, I think, of this of the original Suicide Squad movie, and I'm glad that they're bringing him back. So I'm happy to see Captain Boomerang coming back. And again, you can see that his look is more reminiscent of the more recent, the more recent interpretations of the character with the longer jacket, and you got the scarf and rocking the hat, and not the silly look of his original character, his original appearances. Just Flash 117, not all Flash, just Flash 117. Mixing this up with the book we're going to see a little bit later. But yeah, so the original Boomerang you can see here, it's a little bit of a goofy look with all the boomerangs on his shirt and the weird boots and the the funny little hat. So that might not have played as well. So they went with a newer look. And that newer look you can kind of catch in this New 52 Suicide Squad. Was that issue 3? So in there you can get this kind of revamped look here of Captain Boomerang, a newer version. So again, that's the kind of book that you can keep a lookout for if you're interested that much in the character. You can get that one much cheaper than you can the Flash 117. So just something to keep in mind. Just another option for you. I'm not telling you which are true first and which first you should go buy. I'm just trying to throw out options for you, just some books and appearances of things that I find interesting and you might find interesting as well. So you make your own decisions, you make your own call. I'm just throwing it out there, for you to consider. So that's all I got on Captain Boomerang. So for our last OG character, we got Colonel Rick Flagg, and I liked it. I like Joel Kinnaman's performance in the first one. I'm glad he's back as well. I dug his character. What was that Netflix show? Drawing a blank. But I liked him on the Netflix show, and then he got replaced by Anthony Mackie in the second series. I mean, that's how the series runs. I, for whatever reason, can't remember the title, but Colonel Rick Flagg, this is a character coming back. He was in the first one. Again, they played him more up with this more of a hard soldier look. So for that kind of vibe, you kind of catch that more in this Suicide Squad Rebirth, where they just kind of revamp the look of the character to be more of like a soldier than the original, which was a little bit brighter, a little bit different back in the original his original interpretation. So this soldier look, again, you catch in this Suicide Squad Rebirth there, and he kind of fits that vibe with the this reboot. But it looks like James Gunn is kind of calling back that original look with his yellow shirt here, outfit with Joel Kinnaman in this promo poster, and you kind of catch that in Brave and the Bold presents Suicide Squad, the first one. This was Brave and the Bold 25. So you can see there in it, he's rocking the yellow shirt, much like his original interpretation. So I think that's the case for a lot of these characters we might see in James Gunn's version of this, that where you might get a little bit of a sillier look for some of these characters, campier or goofy kind of vibe. I mean, we'll see. But when you got characters like Polka Dot Man and Weasel running around, silliness could ensue. But we shall see. But again, there we have Colonel Rick Flagg. So from there, we can move on to the new characters. Our first one, I'm going to go alphabetical with these guys just to make it easier on myself. I'm going to start off with Blackguard. And Blackguard, they cast Pete Davidson. Interesting choice. The look of this character looks nothing like his comic book interpretation. With the weird red ponytail and tons of armor. I mean, you get the body armor, he's got the guns. I mean, we'll see what they do with him. I feel like this is a character that might be short on screen time. This could be a Slipknot situation. I don't know how long we're going to see Pete Davidson in this movie. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll last. Maybe he'll make it through to the end, and we'll see him in the next one. Who knows? But if you're interested in Blackguard as a character, Booster Gold 1 is his first appearance. And that's a book you should probably keep an eye on anyway, just because of Booster Gold. There's been tons of rumors about Booster making it to something soon. I think an HBO Max, possibly. But Blackguard, he's our first new guy. Up next, I guess, is probably our biggest new character, and that would be Bloodsport. Now, this was a surprise. Idris Elba, he's probably the biggest new name getting added to this list of characters. And Bloodsport, I mean, this look here, this is very creepy mask. I guess they're using that to kind of make up for the little red bandana mask that his character had in the comics. Should be an interesting character. I like Idris, so I'm looking forward to what he's going to give us, in this movie. But yeah, You can see it's outside of that helmet mask. Yeah, he fits. Look, get a soldier look. I mean, what more do you want? But for that, you can get this in Superman #4 for the first Bloodsport. It's a pretty cool cover. I don't know. I think this book is one that you can find out there, possibly even still in the dollar bins. But I mean, Idris was announced long ago for being in this movie, and everybody was speculating on who he could be. Everything from he's replacing Will Smith as Deadshot, which, yeah, I could see it if they wanted to go that way, but thankfully they didn't. I personally thought when I wrote an article about this about a year ago that he was going to be Bronze Tiger. I don't know, could have fit the vibe of this movie. And then from there, another one was Vigilante that people were specking on because, again, it's a character that it could be anybody, really. But surprise, surprise, he ends up being Bloodsport. Now, does this mean this is going to be just a throwaway character and we're not getting a lot of Idris in this movie? I don't know. I hope not. I hope he sticks around. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what James Gunn has in store for us. Next up, we got Javelin. Gotta admit, I don't know much about Javelin, but he's being played by Flula Borg, if I'm saying his name right. I know this dude from the Pitch Perfect 2, I think it is, the second Pitch Perfect movie. I don't know. He seems to be a pretty funny guy, so this should be an interesting character. And as you can see, very close to the original material with the costume. And but if you're looking for his first appearance, you can catch that in Green Lantern 173. So if you want to invest in Javelin, there you go. And again, I wouldn't recommend investing in a lot of these appearances for these characters. We don't know how long they're going to be in the movie or whether there'll be any legs to them afterwards. I mean, even the characters from the first movie, their books might have spiked a little bit, but long term, I don't think a lot of it has held. But hey, who knows? Again, invest your money how you want it. If you just want to have these characters because you think it's cool, you think it's fun, then throw a couple of bucks, towards their Green Lantern 173. So you got, first Javelin because, hey, who knows? So with that, we're going to move on from Javelin to King Shark. So with King Shark, yeah, this is an interesting look. He looks actually kind of friendly. I mean, I don't know. It's a very nice little smile there. I mean, it does look very similar to the comic book appearance. I mean, apart from the the little getup with the studded armband and leg band, which I don't know, in the kind of pro wrestler outfit doesn't make much sense. But outside of that, it has a kind of a similar vibe. And this is the look that you got on the cover to Superboy 9. Now, Superboy 9 is the book that has him on the cover, and you get the first full appearance. But I know there's other options out there, and some like grabbing Superboy 0 because he does have final page kind of cameo there. If you want to count the teeth as being a first appearance and being a cameo, well, I guess you got the eyeballs there too, or one eyeball. So you got an eyeball and you got some teeth. Looks like he kills some guys. So if you want that in that last page of Superboy 0, you can get King Shark there. But otherwise, go with that Superboy 9 as your King Shark book. Now, I kind of like the way they handled King Shark on the Flash TV show. I mean, he was a bit more muscular and a little bit more angular than the look here, but I don't know, kind of looks fun. I could definitely see it. And I believe they have a comedian, is it Stephen Agee, I think is playing the character. So I don't know, maybe they'll go with a more of a funnier vibe for King Shark. This as long as it's better than Killer Croc, because again, I was not a fan.
Not me, shorty.
All right, so moving on. Up next, we have Mongal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I mean, it's Mongal's daughter, I believe, but Mongal is not somebody I would have expected to see here. I mean, Mongal is like an interstellar, big-time villain that would fight like a Superman type. So having his daughter here seems like an odd choice, but I don't know. I'll give it a shot. Mei Ling Ning. I don't know if I'm saying that properly, but I don't know. She's got a cool look here. I'm willing to give her a shot. I mean, it's close enough to the source material for me. I mean, if you're looking at this character, then you're looking at the Showcase 95, number 8. And this book you can still find out there cheap if you're lucky. But I know when these images first appeared of her being on set, months ago, this book started drying up pretty quick and started, getting a little bit pricier. It's still not too bad, but if you're interested, just keep an eye out. And that's Mongal. I don't know how much we'll see of her. I mean, she could be another quick hit, in and out. Who knows? But next up is our other big name addition to this cast, and that's Peacemaker. I think people had this right, from the get-go, for the most part, when John Cena was cast. But if you're looking for Peacemaker, this Fightin' Five is the book. But I mean, that is not an easy find. That book is. But you might have a better shot of looking at Peacemaker 1, which was, I think, in the 60s. Also 12-cent book, and also not that easy to find. But, you got him on the cover here with this familiar look with the helmet. I kind of dig it. If I could find one, I would get this. But, again, this could be a tough ask. But, those are the early appearances you have for Peacemaker. And, again, John Cena being cast, he looks like he has that true to form kind of look to him with the helmet and the outfit. Looks like a match to me. And I like John Cena. I think he's amusing. So I'm looking forward to what he's going to bring.
Mark Wahlberg's like 150 pounds. I'm 250 lean. I look like Mark Wahlberg ate Mark Wahlberg.
And I know a lot of people are looking at this Blue Beetle 3 for like a newer appearance for Peacemaker, because the character Peacemaker does appear in this book, but it's a completely revamped look. And I don't know if you can see here, like this, it looks like the bad guy from Avatar here. This is not what Cena is dressed like. So investing in this book, I think, doesn't make much sense personally. So I wouldn't be throwing my money at this Blue Beetle 3, because this doesn't look like the version that we're getting. I mean, you can just look at the picture. This looks more like, the original, or the past version, I guess you would say. Not this, again, this white-haired soldier getup. I mean, he's got the helmet. He's got the red and blue suit. So, again, Blue Beetle 3 is not a book that I've put any money into, and I wouldn't recommend it. But if you are just looking for a cheaper option, you can't get that Fighting 5, you can't get that original Volume 1, Peacemaker 1, then look at Volume 2. I think it came out in the 80s. This is something you can find. It's, again, the first issue in a 4-issue mini. It's the look. It's probably the character we're kind of getting. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe the character's going to be a mix. Maybe he has a look of the old, but has more of the nature of that Blue Beetle version. But, again, just not for me. So I'll grab the old one if I can, but I'll be happy with the 80s version in the dollar bins as well. So, Peacemaker, looking forward to it. And I mentioned him before, Polka Dot Man. I mean, leave it to James Gunn to bring us a character called Polka Dot Man and bring him to live action. I mean, again, the outfit is looking true to form. I mean, he's got polka dots. I mean, what more do you want? Red goggles, white suit, polka dots all over. I mean, and this guy, David, I'm not even going to pronounce his last name, but yeah, he's no stranger to superhero movie adaptations, especially DC wise. I mean, he was on Gotham, he was in Dark Knight, so he's been around the block. And again, I'm very interested to see how they're going to deliver on Polka Dot Man on the big screen, like what they're going to do with his crazy power set. How are they going to show that? I don't know. I think it'd be fun. Again, this movie might be a lot campier than we expect, but hey, he pulled off a movie that had a talking raccoon and a talking tree that only says one thing, and everybody loved it. So I have faith in James Gunn. So I will look forward to seeing what he does with Polka Dot Man. But if you're looking to buy Polka Dot Man, you got to look at Detective 300 here. So again, this is not an easier book to find. Yeah, it's another 12-center, so it's not readily available on the shelves at most shops. But yeah, it's out there if you want it. I don't think it's too far out of range, but it's definitely not a cheap book. But if you're interested, there it is, Tech 300, Polka Dot Man. And now our next one is a little bit of an, I don't want to say an odd choice, just a different choice. And that's Ratcatcher 2. And there's a clear distinction there that this is Ratcatcher 2. I mean, you can even see it there on that title card. He didn't just say, this is Ratcatcher, and we're going to make a gender swap version of it, because whether you're aware or not, the original Ratcatcher, was a male. It was a man, and there it is. I mean, very kind of similar look with that kind of gas mask and the green kind of vibe. Dingy, grungy. I mean, rats make sense. But Ratcatcher, the original Ratcatcher, is Detective 585. Now, I don't believe there's an appearance of any offspring or secondary Ratcatcher in comics, so we really only have that first Ratcatcher. But this is not that same character. And again, I think they're making that clear distinction by calling her Ratcatcher 2. And they are definitely going a different way. I mean, she has a much different look than the original. She is not hard to look at. And yeah, so I guess we'll see. So until there's an appearance, maybe we'll get one in a upcoming comic closer to when the movie releases, and we'll get a new version of Ratcatcher. But as of now, I don't think there is a comic appearance of this version of Ratcatcher yet. But again, who knows? Maybe there will be. But if you want the original, Tech 585 is your way to go. Because Ratcatcher 2, I don't believe there is one. And if I'm wrong, please hit me up in the comments or send me a message or something, because I'd be interested to see if there was an appearance. But I don't believe there is one yet. All right. Our next one up is James Gunn favorite, an old alum for a bunch of his movies. That's Michael Rooker, who is playing a character called Savant. Now, this character's look is kind of close to the the original look from the comics, and that the white hair. I mean, goggles. I mean, the hair's kind of down as opposed to pulled back in this nifty ponytail. But if you're looking for this character, you're looking at Birds of Prey 56, and yeah, that's a pretty cool Ed Benes cover. I don't know, I'd grab it just for that alone. But if you also wanted to grab the first Savant, I would suggest you do so, because Michael Rooker, he makes his presence known in movies. That might be an interesting book to keep an eye out for. Despite the weird, Willie Nelson hair he's got going there. But, I mean, everything else, it seems to fit from the outfit. Now, I think it's also worth noting that even though that Birds of Prey 56 is his first, you also might want to look at that Suicide Squad book, because in here we get a little bit of a different look and different version of this character. But I'm not saying this is what's going to happen to Michael Rooker's character, but it is, again, worth noting that this character is one of the ones that is kind of made that example of in this first issue of Suicide Squad, and doesn't make it all the way through. So Savant dies in this comic, and maybe he won't make it out too far in the movie. I mean, I hope that's not the case, because again, I like Michael Rooker, but sometimes just because it's a big name actor, they may not make it far into a movie. I don't know if any of you remember Executive Decision, which had Steven Seagal in it. I don't think he made it out of the first 2 minutes of the movie. But, that happens sometimes. You get a big name in just for a tiny cameo. Not to say Michael Rooker's a huge name, but people know him, and especially with James Gunn. But, again, just something to keep, be aware of. Suicide Squad 1, that New 52 book, he didn't make it through that first story. So just keep that in mind if you are looking also to invest in, Savant. Now, our next character is Soria, which I think a lot of people are speculating is a gender swap character, which is quite possible and quite probable, because I don't think there is a character that aligns perfectly to the name Soria in the DC universe, at this time. But if this is in fact the character, I think it's Juan Soria, he first appeared in this Suicide Squad 33, and as you can see, it's a guy, and he doesn't look like as badass as Alice Braga does with this machine gun in hand. So I don't know if this is going to be an exact trade-off. I mean, because she really looks like the character she played in Predators to me here, which was also a pretty good movie. I mean, I didn't like a lot of the Aliens vs. Predator sequel movies too much because they're all kind of the same. But Predators, I don't know, I kind of dug it. It was a interesting take, and I did dig her character in that. Anyway, without getting too far off topic, that's really the book there. If you're interested in finding the male version of the character, but maybe again we'll see a newer version of the character that aligns more with this movie version in a comic book coming up sometime soon. But that's really all we got for Sol Soria, because again, he was out pretty quick. So Suicide Squad, that's the point. We have tons of characters here. They're not all going to make it. So it's just a matter of seeing who's going to make it through and who's not. Could be interesting. I mean, hopefully they make it a little bit further along into the movie and we get some of these characters to play their parts for a little bit longer than, say, X-Force in Deadpool 2, because, I mean, they didn't even make it out of the plane. But anyway, Sol Soria, we're going to move on to one of my guilty pleasure favorite actors, Nathan Fillion, giving us the Detachable Kid. As we can see here, this is probably going to be an interesting character, as it's based off of Arm Fall Off Boy, I believe. So this should probably make for a few laughs in the movie. And again, Fillion's a funny dude, so I'm looking forward to it. This should be good. I don't know how long he'll make it. Maybe he'll just have this tiny cameo like he did as the voice of that big blue guy in Guardians. But he usually shows up in James Gunn stuff in some form or another, even if it's a tiny part. So I don't know. Hopefully it's a bigger part than normal, but with a character like Arm Fall Off Boy or the Detachable Kid, I don't know if he's going to be around for the long haul. But if you're looking for his first, keep an eye out for that Secret Origins 46. It's an interesting character and it's kind of fun to have, on its own anyway. So I'd recommend grabbing one if you can find it for cheap. Because, again, I'm sure Nathan Fillion will make a mark. And got a little behind-the-scenes snapshot here. I have high hopes for this character in this movie, so we shall see what we get from the Detachable Kid. Now, up next, we have the Thinker. Now, I will admit that I didn't love that season of The Flash where the Thinker was the villain, because it just seemed to drag on a bit much for me personally. That's kind of where I fell off watching the Flash TV show, was with the Thinker. But I'm going to keep an open mind, for this, because I do like the idea of the character. And here we got Peter Capaldi, who I didn't think I was going to like him as Doctor Who, but I did. I enjoyed him. He wasn't quite, my Matt Smith or even David Tennant, but I enjoyed him. He was a fun Doctor. So if you want the Thinker's first appearance, you're going to have to go all the way back to that All Flash 12. This is not a very reasonable ask for people to find, because that book, it's golden age. So you're not going to find a lot of copies of this out at your local shops most of the time. Even online, you're not going to find it. You're definitely not going to find it cheap. So this is kind of an unreasonable ask for people who want to invest in this character of the Thinker. But I don't know. I also don't know if that would be the version that they would go with, for this movie, because he seems to look pretty close to the newer interpretation that we've seen in the more recent history with, Thinker. So if we got Peter Capaldi and that newer version, we can find that in this run of Suicide Squad from the New 52, issue 24, as the first appearance of this newer version of the Thinker. So again, this is not the very first Thinker, but it is a newer version and the first appearance of this newer version. So this is an easier ask if somebody wants to collect and go look for these books. Like, this is something you can find out there. So you can find that Suicide Squad book if you look on the shelves. You might find it in a back issue bin pretty cheap. You might even find it in a dollar bin. If you're interested in the Thinker, that looks like a book that you can reasonably find. All right, we're getting pretty near the end here. And now, the next one, she is a returning character, but I didn't put her in with the first three because, Amanda Waller, I wouldn't even really consider her a part of the team as she's running the show, but I did want to at least mention her here, and she is coming back because Viola Davis, she did a bang-up job, of delivering on who this character is and could be. And you don't want to mess with her. So I felt we should drop her in here because, again, she'll be back. She's in the movie. And again, if you want her first appearance, it's in that Legends one, which this book was spec'd on, I think, the first time around with the first movie. And, you know, the character of Amanda Waller's shown up in other media before. You know, she was in the Arrowverse. They had a version of her, and I believe she was in even back in Smallville. I think there was an Amanda Waller, but I think they all pale in comparison to what Viola Davis gave us in the last movie and what I expect from her in the new movie. So again, that's Amanda Waller, and then we've got just one more left in our run of new characters here, and that's Weasel. Weasel, of all characters. Why Weasel? I don't know. But it's Sean Gunn. Yeah, it's James Gunn's brother. So he gets to put the mocap suit on again. As we all know, he did the motion capture for Rocket. So now he's going to do the motion capture creature here for Weasel. I don't know. Odd choice of a character. Why Weasel? I guess the real question could be, why not Weasel? But if you are interested in Weasel, you can get his first appearance in that Fury of Firestorm 38, I think it is. But yeah. So Weasel, I don't know why, but again, interesting look, be an interesting character. So Weasel, our last new member of the Suicide Squad. Again, I'm looking forward to this movie. I think it will be good. I have faith in James Gunn. I wasn't looking forward to it at first before, you know, James Gunn was hired as director, because I figured it would just be another, bigger, louder sequel, you know, to that first one, which again, I admit was lackluster in my opinion, but I am looking forward to what we're getting in this next one. I mean, we're getting back Harley. We're getting new additions in Cena and Idris Elba. And some fun possibly with King Shark and Weasel and characters like Polka Dot Man. I don't know. It should be a good time. And just to kind of wrap things up, I have just a few of these, behind the scenes shots that were leaked a while back. So you can just see that, yeah, Gunn's not shying away from these characters. Well, you can look at like Blackguard and say, well, there's some military kind of get up with the black armor and whatnot. I mean, you look at Javelin there, the bright yellow and bright blue, and Mongal with the orange skin and the purple onesie. And I think this is going to be interesting. Just so see Nathan Fillion mixing it up there with Boomerang, and again you see the mocap suit on there. You got Sean Gunn hunching away. But again, I have faith in James Gunn. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to get. I mean, again, I don't know what's going on here, but you got Harley in that dress. You got Idris laughing. You got Polka Dot Man standing there. And you can see, I think it's Stephen Agee there in it's probably his King Shark mocap. So, you know, he can act on set with everybody and they can see his big shark head. So, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. So, with that, hopefully you guys, enjoyed this little bit of a video. Again, if this is something that you guys like, I can try to do this again for some other topics. But so this was my usual suspects for the Suicide Squad based on DC's Fandome announcements. I keep an eye out. Check out comicbookinvest.com, where I'll be dropping an article hopefully later this week. And again, you should be checking it out anyway. Please like and subscribe, set the alerts, and you'll know when I'm dropping my occasional videos here. But this could potentially be a new addition to the lineup of things I'm doing. I still have a pickups video that I have to edit up together and put out for you guys to show you some of the books that I've been buying recently. But with Dollar Bin and CGC unboxings and what have you, I might try to do a little bit more of this this newer version of my original article, The Usual Suspects. So thank you for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and be safe out there and just try to have fun collecting, because comics, should be fun.